Welcome back, legends. We're taking a look at the new Blackstar Amped 3. As you would probably guess, it is the third addition to their Amped line of pedals. Very similar format to the Amped 1 and Amped 2, but while the Amped 1 was designed as a kind of pedal or modeler platform, and the Amped 2 was designed as an entire rig in a box, Amped 3 is essentially like a 3-channel head in a pedal format. So you have the same 100-watt power amp as the other two models, but this time you've got 3 distinct amp channels with a built-in boost and reverb. On the back, you've still got the various routing options. You've got a DI output. You've got 2 different power amp outputs on here. You've got the ability to power external pedals using the Amped 3 itself, which I'll demonstrate in a little bit. There's an effects loop in there, there's a headphone or DI out, and you've got the kind of Blackstar signature ISF control over here, and their like power stage emulation on there for EL84s, 6L6s, and EL34s. Let's make some noise. I've got my PRS Custom 24 plugged straight into the Amped 3. I'm taking the DI out of the Amped 3 straight into my interface and into Pro Tools with no post-processing. I've also got my Eventide H90 connected in the effects loop. One cool thing about the power supply for pedals on the Amped 3 is that it's got enough juice to run something like the H90. So I assume it would run most of the kind of modern, power intensive digital pedals out there. You'd have to check the specs. I am using a little polarity inverter on the H90 because rather than be center negative like 99% of other pedals out there, it is center positive. So that's how I'm running that. We'll hear the H90 in a bit though. What I want to do is start off by using the Architect software, which you can see a screen grab of, to dial in 3 basic sounds. One thing that I like about the Architect software is that it updates the position of the knobs on the actual Amped 3 in real time. So if I twist the gain control, you can see it changing in real time on the software. It's very snappy and fast, which I like there. Before we dive into the kind of tweaky tone stuff, I want to go to the cabinet section here because I am using the DI out. You've got a selection of different cabinets over here from 1x10s all the way through to 4x12s. Then there are 6 different microphones you can select between. You can even change the axis. So you can have like an on-axis 57 or an off-axis 57. I'll let you hear the difference really quick. Let's go with an off-axis 421 just for something a little bit different. You've got a post EQ section in here with a low cut and a high cut. You can even just click and disable the low cut or the high cut. Let's hear it without the high cut. That's pretty nice and smooth. I don't think I really need the high cut in there at the moment. You've also got a 4-band post EQ. You've got a room simulation. You can select between a bunch of different rooms in here. Well, small, medium, and large with a normal or a damped version in there. Then you've got a level control for that, so I can also mute or solo the room. I kind of like that in there. You can also set whether you've got a kind of stereo room, a mono room, or a wide room. Let's just go for a mono room. All right, I'm pretty cool with that. You've also got a master section over here. So getting a cab sound that works for all 3 modes is something that's well worth experimenting with. This kind of 4x12 vintage oversize, I like the sound of, and I'm not going to think about it too much more. The IR rabbit hole, it is a dangerous, dangerous beast, but I'm going to go with that for now. So I've got a crunch sound happening on here, which I don't mind. We'll go crunch, clean, and then high gain. You've got the choice between crunch and super crunch on here. There's also the Blackstar ISF control. So I'm actually just going to tweak this on the pedal and have a listen to where I like it the most. mind that as a crunch sound, I can have a listen to the difference between crunch and super crunch. I think I much prefer that. Let's just hear the difference between, say, EL84 response and EL34 response on here. For a crunch sound, I think I want either of those. That's going to do me just fine. I can dial in a reverb on here. I've got a choice between dark and light, but if I go to the settings in the Architect software, I can actually set the time and tone for dark and light as well. So if I want a longer reverb for light, I've dialed it in. I can go for a much shorter one over here for dark. So let's go dark, and I'll turn the reverb on. Not too bad. I've also got the ability to kick in a boost, and I can set the boost to be pre or post per channel, as well as the overall level per channel. So I've got it set pre at the moment, so this will just give me some more gain. So you've got 3 channels with a boost on each channel, so kind of 6 channels. I'm going to hit save on that one, and then let's set up a clean channel over here. You've got the choice between a warm and a bright mode on here. I've got the gain cranked right up, and I'm going to use one of the parallel modes on this PRS. Let's have a listen to what we've got between warm and bright. As you heard there, I kicked in the H90 in the effects loop. The Amped 3 has MIDI. The H90 has MIDI. You could MIDI them up and have these change in sync. So you could use different effects from the H90 together with different channels on the Amped 3, which is pretty sweet. Let's go to the real fun now. We'll go over to overdrive on here. You've got OD1 and OD2. For clean and crunch, I kind of liked the ISF control, basically almost, towards, what would we say, like 8, 7 o'clock on the clock, somewhere down here. I think it really kind of comes to life on the overdrive channel, where cranking it up takes you from that, say, vintage Marshall style thing to like more of an American boogie style gain. Anyway, let's just have a listen to where this is on the bridge pickup, which is a Duncan JB, by the way. That's how I go about gain staging this anyway. One thing that I have noticed is that if you turn the reverb on and you go to the different modes, the reverb is on across all the different modes, but the overall mix changes. The same thing applies for the boost. So if you're on the overdrive mode playing rhythm guitar, you kick the boost on for a solo, then it is going to be on for crunch and on for clean as well. Personally, I would like it if that was a per mode thing. So if I'm on clean and I turn the boost on, then I go to crunch, and I didn't have the boost on crunch, then the boost is not on the crunch mode there. I would prefer it if it's saved like that. I don't know if that's something that can be added as a firmware update, but it's definitely a request on my end. I'll let you hear some different cabs now as well, because they are a very important part of the overall sound. And I'm going to go with the overdrive settings that I've got here. So I'll audition a few of these 4x12 cabs. We'll go back to the standard issue 57 over here. I'll leave it on axis and just let you hear a couple of the different options with the let's do a 1x12, a 2x12, and then a 4x12. I'm going to put the Eventide on for some delay as well, because why not? That's all for today's video. If you want to learn more, there are links in the video description. Big thank you to Felipe and the team at CMI for sending this one out to me early on loan so that I could do a video for launch. If you like what I'm doing on the channel, you can also check the video description for a variety of different ways to support my channel, either via Patreon, buying some merch, or the music that I make. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.